This is a dream and you have a safe full of secrets. I need to know what's in that safe. In order for this all to work, you need to completely let me in.
This is our opinion show. The one where we get rowdy, verbal, and maybe a little bit poetically violent.
You serious?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
I'm okay with this.
Cellar Door Skeptics presents Through the Attic Window, a classically elegant, simple, and raw emotional experience about the complex nature of this world. And welcome to Cellar Door Skeptics Through the Attic Window. It's our opinion show, if you hadn't gathered that from the intro.
Opinion show.
Because, sometimes we just got some opinions. How do you like them grammars?
Does it have to be like the Prozac start every time? Do we have to be like, and then like 20 minutes later we're just screaming? It's just yelling.
It might not
time?
be. Maybe I'll speak in my calm voice for the whole show. Maybe we'll make it an NPR version of.
No, this isn't.
This
is an NPR
window.
version. This is the SNL sweaty balls. That's what that is.
Thank you all for joining us. It's our side project, Through the Attic Window, and this is the part of the show where we just rant. And I know we rant on the show.
It doesn't
a little
have
bit.
to be completely and totally sourced. Like,
yeah,
we can just have like an opinion. Like we kind of sort of feel.
We feel
it in our deaf
is.
ears.
I don't feel anything in my deaf ears because
Yeah.
I'm the dumbass that went out of his way to ruin my hearing through loud death metal concerts, which I am repeatedly reminded through my kids and my wife every single day.
But your hearing is still pretty solid. Have you had a hearing test at all?
No, because I refuse to acknowledge the fact that I have hearing loss. And
why would you refuse though? Like, what's the benefit there?
Because
But
all right,
besides
you're
ego,
derailing our side arguments here. But
Damn it!
All right, but okay, hold on. Because I feel bad, right?
Why?
You have a legitimate disability. I do not. I was stupid.
You might.
No,
if
no,
you
no.
can't hear, is legit, pal.
Yeah, but in all fairness, I ruined it. I was the one that got wasted and went to all these concerts. I went to these concerts. Well, I went before I even started drinking. Like I actually. Hold on.
It's not always that big of a deal.
I know, but in all fairness, like I feel bad because some of me says you have a legitimate disability. Here, I went and got really wasted 80% of the time and went and listened to a bunch of music I really liked and was stupid and listened to the science behind how you lose your hearing.
Well, this would be like saying Donald Trump is responsible and he has to pay for his new glasses for staring at the solar eclipse.
Well, he is responsible for that. He should have to pay for them out of his pocket.
No, he shouldn't, because stupidity isn't exactly something that should be the presidential markings. No, I would say that even though you have listened to music really loud and people around the country have also done so, this is something that I would say is a social thing that people don't know as much as they should.
What if I told you I did know and I was a rebel and didn't care?
I would still think that you deserve to have your hearing covered.
All right. Well, and that's fair, and that's nice of you to say.
I'm a brosif. I love your. I love all the peoples, and you should probably have socialist healthcare.
I would agree with you on that, but in all fairness, some of it is I understand. I'm losing my. I'm deaf. I'm losing my depth here. It's for the aspect of what I can hear. It's ranges, man. It's like on one side.
How do you hear
it's
your
too
daughters
low?
then? Because I can't hear anything. They squeak, squeak, squeak.
Because in all fairness,
it's like mice running around your house.
It's not as bad as yours. That's why.
My hearing loss is in trouble. I have most of my bass, but it's all about the bass. No, I have most of my hearing loss is in treble, and so like, like I have mentioned this multiple times on the show, is that if you like when I was younger, if you would jingle keys together, it would just be silent. There would be no sound coming from that. In my most recent set of hearing aids, I could hear that sound, and that's crazy. I could never hear that sound, and so like I would think that hearing loss, it's a big deal. And so like people like you, there are going to be a lot more of you. And it's just, I would say that there is an interesting correlation as far as societal recognition and understanding of certain situations. So like depression and things where people are becoming more aware that this is a real thing and there's no social taboo. It's okay to have this. The same thing with hearing. It's not like, you're deaf. What's wrong with you? You're deaf and dumb. Like, no, you hearing aids, and hearing aids are a real thing you should take. There's no difference from visual aids with glasses or whatever. Like, these are, progressions for society as we kind of move away from the Stone Age where we clubbed the person who couldn't see because
but the difference is that mine is because I made poor decisions growing up, whereas yours is an actual... You actually genuinely grew up with that.
We'll deal with self-inflicted, but everybody deserves to have a nice flat hearing.
All right.
But either way, what is this freaking rant about here? Because I'm not. I think the Trump supporters aren't really that concerned about my hearing loss.
They're definitely not, because they don't believe in socialized Medicare. But
no,
I came across this article on Michigan radio, on NPR, essentially, right? And the article says, it starts with this. It says, "It's been a nonstop barrage of attacks, Trump organizers say, in aftermath of Charlottesville." Like, wait, they're saying these things? Who says these things? It's been a non-barrage stop of attacks? Oh, because you're a Trumpite? Because your president, because the president you voted for didn't want to disavow Nazis? Yeah, no shit. No shit, Sherlock. No shit, people are going to go after you. And so the article talks... essentially, it's an interview from NPR with the Michigan Trump Republicans who rallied in West Michigan in the town of Hesperia, and they have more rallies that they plan on doing around the state in the upcoming months. And so we wanted to kind of cover this topic because Misha Maddox, a rally organizer for the Michigan Trump Republicans and former co-chair of the Trump campaign in Oakland County, joined NPR's Stateside to basically explain why that they're going to rally.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like the rally. So, are you playing the audio on this?
No, I'm not going to play the audio because I'll be honest. I feel if you and I play the audio, it kind of steals from that a little bit, and so I don't want to steal from that.
My basic thing here is that we talked about this on the Inciting Incident podcast, and this perspective here. So, like, I miss the America I grew up in, and so if you look up at this. If you go to this website, you can see this. This is a sign that the America I grew up in. There's two old white guys. I mean, we're talking 60 plus, and make America great again. So, like, basically bringing back the America where it was fine to say that women were supposed to be sexy in the office and wear high heels, that transgender people didn't exist and they were psychological whatevers. And that gay people were, a scourge on society and should be hidden. Like, that is the America they grew up in. That's the America they want again. And as far as I can tell, it's not okay to want that anymore. Society has moved past that. A lot of places outside the United States said, you know what? No. We're gonna try to include more people. And so the Americans that are trying to pull this back, like, it's a battle. And on the podcast that we were a guest in, we talked about this. And essentially, it's really just like trying to pull things back beyond, where they are now. And you can't pull history back. I'm sorry. Once it's been unleashed, you're going to get a transgender future. And I fucking support it.
Yeah. And okay. And let's disengage a little bit of the politics here and just go to their base argument. They're basically talking about how they're being persecuted because they feel we should stop trying to shut their rallies down. They feel that these organized flash mobs to promote their candidate are positive, right? And that they should be able to continue to do these different demonstrations without interruption.
The flash mobs in protests are not okay too, though.
Well, I don't know what you're saying there.
It was
but
like you basically get like a Trump supporting flash mob saying like, we support this, we're going to show up here and protest that. But if someone on the opposite side does a flash mob in the opposite direction,
they have a problem with that.
Yeah,
and they don't understand why people are protesting them. And the lady on here literally states that she does not feel that anything Trump said about the violence in Seaville is wrong. And then she goes, I don't understand why we're being targeted. And the funny thing here is the fact that they're not targeting over just this one specific topic, right? They're not targeting over just this one area, this one, discussion point. They're targeting over a cumulation of everything that is Trump, yes. And the fact that Trump didn't just do this. I mean, he pardoned El Repropo, or whatever you say his name. He pardoned the sheriff, who is a racist fuck. He is fighting healthcare for everybody universally. He's banning transgender individuals from joining the military and wanting to out those transgender individuals in the military to get them out of the military. So Trump's doing things that are marginalizing people. And yes, if you support him, even if you only support his economic stances, if you support him, you are also passively supporting all these other things. And that's the problem here, and that's what they don't understand is that, hey, you know what? Fine. You want to support the conservative, rhetoric.
Support the big business Donald Trump.
Exactly. And you can support that, but you also got to take the rest that's coming with it. So when Trump says, it's everybody that's creating the violence, and you're like, no. It's Nazis. Just say Nazis. Just say white supremacists are attacking people, are arming themselves and marching in the streets to state we can kill people at some point when we become popular enough. Just admit that's what Trump is acknowledging is okay.
Basically, if these people would say that all of the white supremacists and the
supremacists is like a pizza.
White supremacists, these are weird. Like supremacists. Basically the people that are full on arming themselves and walking in the streets, like if that is okay, it's like this is being as American as possible, enforcing and expressing our right to bear arms. The same thing happened in, let's say, DC, where 1,000 black people and Latin American people walked with ARs just down the street. Now, you're telling me your response can be exactly the same because these are people, let's say they all are, citizens of the United States, full-on citizens, but they're expressing their right to bear arms. I'm going to guess that the responses are going to be a little bit different. So there is there are these caveats that these people have. So let's say I miss the America I grew up in. I miss the America that was a major manufacturing base. I miss the America that wasn't competing with China as far as globalization was concerned. So these people that are supporting Trump, they are supporting Trump on the American nationalism side as far as the economic scale is concerned. They want to bring back and they want to stop fighting against, inhuman wages in other countries. But what they've done is they've kind of mixed themselves in with these white supremacists. They've mixed themselves in with these white nationalists where they've lost the economic message where everybody in the U.S. deserves a decent wage. We should have good jobs in this country. And they've lost their identity by mixing with these people. And it's kind of like selling your soul to the devil as far as any of these, the pseudo whatever religious aspects when you kind of explaining this is that they basically sold their soul to the Trump support base, thinking that they would get a benefit, and they haven't seen one. There has been no benefit to the middle class working poor in this country from the Trump presidency so far. In fact, all we've seen is the Republican supermajority fight about how they could take money and rights away from these people. And so, as much as like the rest of us are fighting them since the Charlottesville stuff, I really think these people would be in the better if they would just spend more time in the centrist with people that are kind of sort of centrist liberal. They would probably agree more, but they've aligned themselves so hard with Trump they can't leave that.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to call this article out, because, you know, while NPR gave a voice to somebody I don't feel should have a voice, they did give light to the fact that what these people were doing is talking about their own privilege. They're talking about being persecuted, and it's like, well, do you understand how many black people are persecuted every day? And you want to talk about what happened in Charlottesville. Yes, a black person did get killed, but do you understand that how many black people are being repressed, how many people are being discriminated against, how many black people are being killed by cops every single day? And the problem here that I have with this is these white people are sitting here saying, hey, stop calling me out. You know, I just want to support Trump. Leave me alone. It's like, well,
give me
do you understand
status quo where I never got called out?
Yeah, exactly. Do you understand that Trump has some really shitty ideologies, and yet you're going to continue to sit here and allow for that to happen? Like, okay, fine, if that's what you want to do, but I should be able to call you out. And the delusion in the article and the interview is what bothers me the most, is the fact that they had to defend Trump at every stance. But the worst part of this, Hannah, is that the person they had to speak was a white supremacist, somebody that actually supported white supremacist things. You know what her answer was to the fact that they had this individual speaking at their event?
What was it?
She literally says, well, do you understand that we have an individual that's Jewish and a feminist, and she's, you know, speaking here too? That was their answer. It wasn't that, yeah, well, you know what, we don't side with him, or yeah, you know what, we probably shouldn't have brought him, but we're kind of stuck now. She didn't even give those excuses. She just went to the diversion tactic that says, hey, we involve everybody. And that's like if you and I were to say, hey, we're going to create a podcast, and guess what? Every week, we're going to invite one white supremacist and one, you know, Antifa, or one Black Lives Matter, or one revolutionary on the show, and we're going to let them debate it out every time. And we're just going to say, hey, look, they're debating, you should take what side you want. At some point, you have to stand up to the fact that, hey, they invited a white supremacist, somebody that specifically called out white supremacy, specifically
in
said,
support.
Yes, that basically said extremely white nationalist things. And I don't want to get into this white nationalist debate here. I want to go directly towards the white supremacy thing and say, they didn't just invite a white nationalist, they invited a white supremacist. And we could talk about the deviations in terminology and how those two are similar, but we can also talk about the fact that they specifically chose somebody that has said white supremacist statements in their speeches, and they've invited them to come speak at this rally, and then justified it by trying to say, hey, we have a Jewish individual coming. That's like if I said, hey, I've got black friends, I could say, you know, horrible things. You can't say that. You don't, just because you have a black friend does not make you exempt from being racist. God, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you think that? If you had a black wife, it wouldn't mean you're not racist. I actually have a cousin who has said that to me before. He's literally told me, he's like, well, you know, hey, my wife Portia, she's an African American, and she doesn't support Black Lives Matter, so you shouldn't. And it's like, yeah, she also thinks that conversion therapy is positive, Christianity should rule, and that all atheists should be shamed. So fuck her. You know what? Yeah, I support the fact that she's a minority. I support the fact that she's been shitted on a lot of her life. I support the fact that she is, you know, she has a lot of disadvantages, but I don't support the fact of her walking around trying to say, hey, all atheists are pieces of shit, and oh, hey, guess what? Gay things, it's not real because God told me that being gay is just a mentality, and that you could go to a conversion therapy and be healed. Fuck you. I'm sorry. You fucking said shitty things. Yes, you're a minority. Yes, I want to listen to your position. Yes, I will talk with you about the whole Black Lives Matter thing, but you discredit some of that a little bit here when you state horribly fucking insulting false things about a lot of people.
This is one of the areas that it brings back into the Inciting Incident podcast when we were on there. And also the last couple shows that we've had is when I have actually mentioned that I have moved from my really soft, moderate position to, okay, there are some things in freedom of speech that I can say there is no benefit. There will never be a benefit to being a Nazi in free speech. That is an area where it's just like, nope. I can completely and totally just put that in a garbage can and never see it being there. Inviting someone in to provide that perspective, sorry, I'm afraid that I don't think there is ever a benefit in society, so I am okay with them removing that. And so in this case here, that is not a duality that we should accept. We should say that young woman gets a face, but unfortunately, the guy that come in that wants to get the white supremacist stuff, not quite so much.
Yeah, and in all fairness to my cousin's wife, I mean, like I said, I'm open to having a conversation. I'm open to the fact that we can talk about our political differences, that we can express our disagreements over, specific groups and these different things.
But nobody deserves genocide.
No, nobody deserves genocide.
As educated, normal humans can say.
Yeah. You don't deserve to die.
No.
And even on her side, I don't want her to die.
Nobody does.
The only people that I really genuinely care if they die, or I'm sorry, don't care if they die, are Nazis, are white supremacists, because their ideology says we want to rule everything, and I have a problem with that. Yeah. But when we look at this article and we look at what we're hearing, what I'm hearing, Hannah, here, is the fact that we have a bunch of people not accepting the fact that their privilege, that their power is being moved. And it's not that they're losing power. It's the fact that we're transitioning power, that we're accepting new ideas, and that we're going to say, hey, you know what? Your opinion's not okay.
Welcome to the future.
And it bothers them. It bothers a lot of people because they don't want to hear that. And I'm not going to lie and say that I've never felt that. I mean, I've been called out. Trust me. I've
back
been
in
called
your day?
out. Not just back in the day, even within the last 3 years. I have been called out, And what it does is it makes me step back and say, okay, hold on, how can I learn from this? And I'm going to go into an example, a very personal example of when I went to the CFI camp. There was a gentleman, I was a little drunk. There was a gentleman, we were talking, and we didn't agree eye to eye on Black Lives Matter, in all fairness. And I stopped and I listened to his position on racism. He's an African-American gentleman, and his wife is an African-American woman. And they gave me a different perspective about, do you understand all these other little nuances? Do you understand that I don't believe that all white people should have to shame themselves? Do you understand that it doesn't always take that, and that you can accept the fact that you're a good ally? He says, I don't want to hear you, tote from the top of your lungs that we should do what you say, but you can at least accept the fact that you are being a good person and you're wanting to change the world. And the problem I have with this article here and this whole interview on NPR is the fact that, A, NPR let them get away with things I never would have got to let them get away with, and B, we had to listen to a bunch of white people make excuses for their beliefs and for Trump. And it's okay to say the person I voted for is wrong. It's okay to say, hey, I didn't get this from his campaign. I would disagree with you. I got that from his campaign, but, okay, fine, not everybody did. And there's a lot of people having second regrets, and if they acknowledge the fact that they have second regrets and these different things, I don't see it as a place where we should try and shame them, because I don't want to create a bigger divide. What I want to do is help build a bridge and help build a way we can get rid of the people like Trump and get rid of that type of a politics so that we can embrace the future in a more humanistic way of looking at things. And so I don't shut the conversation out every single time. And in this case, I would talk with her, but personally, I kind of feel she's at a little bit of a lost cause. So,
Trump's a lost cause.
Trump's a lost cause. With that being said, thank you for joining us with another Through the Attic Window, the opinion segment of Cellar Door Skeptics. We'll be live next week, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern with another amazing show talking about riots and different demonstration tactics. Have a good night, everyone.